start with you, Wendy. Okay, welcome. This is exciting on a Thursday. Let's see, check the date. It is June something, June 13th already. That is so crazy. So remember when we were ending the month and now it's already 2 weeks later. So it's good to always figure out where am I in the month and try to push for promotions or getting your follow-ups done, because the days and days can just go away. And if you are not trying to be real intentional and disciplined in making calls and follow-ups and inviting to events and putting events on the calendar, your days just kind of go one to another and time passes by. So there's no better place to spend time than on our Juice Plus business, which continues to pay us into the future. So I encourage you to do that. We do have a special guest today, which I'm very excited about. And we're going to get to Wendy in just a minute, but we want to hear from Melissa and whoever else was on here last Monday on the Stacy Whitmer. I want to not lose what we talked about on our last Lunch and Learn, or the Lunch and Learn before, so that we really apply it. So let's talk about what we talked about on Monday. Melissa, you want to recap a little bit and then we can add in?
Sure. I don't have my notes with me, but she had gone through, well, number one, using your voice. So either calling people, you can always, I don't know if she said this, but I always do that thing where if I call you and leave a message, I send a text message that's like, hey, I just left you a voice message. Or I'll even like send an audio message via text and then be like an up arrow, like just sent you a voice message. I mean, if nobody's going to answer you, they're not going to answer you regardless of what you send. So you might as well just send your voice. She also talked about and gave us some verbiage to start with on current customers, I think past customers, maybe prospects, and then old team. Some things to kind of just jump out there and say to them, to get them reinterested, reignited. But the big thing she talked about was using your voice. And, oh, I know something that stuck out to me. She said when she was really building her business, she was on the phone, 10 people a day, 10 people a day. And I have to think, did she say she went for 10 no's a day, or she called at least, she called enough people to get 10 no's a day? Or right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
the goal is 10. That was an old concept we used to use called go for no.
Yeah.
So even if you're getting yeses, you keep going until you hit 10 no's.
Okay.
So yeah, it depends on how big your goals are, to how many no's you want to experience. Plus it makes you a little less afraid to reach out if you are comfortable with, not right. No, in our business is not right now anyway, because people change, seasons change. It could be the right timing some other time. But that is one of the things that stuck out for me, is her making that goal, and if we just really put our mind to reaching out to people and telling them, because most likely we haven't told them that they could do this or that, and giving them some vision about having their own partnership, taking care of their own orders, but also being that person for their mom, their sister, their brother, their cousin, their family, we could give them that vision. The other thing, like you said, is the voice. And I put it in our Voxer that the other day I was like, all right, I'm driving, so I'm going to leave a voice message for this lady who I'd met at this event that I did a week ago. And she was saying that, maybe she might order a Tower Guard, maybe her daughter. And I knew she was on Juice Plus in the past. So I was just following up to get some kind of interaction with her like a week later. And I said about the partnership. Then she texted me, oh, I want to hear more about that. So, doing the voicemail, and I like the way you said, Melissa, don't worry, they're not even going to answer probably in this day and age. You just leave the voicemail, then they'll hear it eventually. And who knows what that might get you, or those little audio ones. And I know some people leave videos, some people with their customers, they make videos of themselves and send videos to their customers. Like Rachel Smart is really good at that.
I used to do that. I should get back to that.
That's right, Nalani. Let's see it. Nalani's been doing some amazing things. We did want to also highlight Nalani's talk last night. Nalani, I was a little bit like taken aback in the beginning, truthfully. I was like, I thought this was a diabetes Zoom. but she introduced the business right when everybody was getting on the Zoom. And I was like, okay, well, you know, she gets a lot of partners. So maybe this is totally intentional. And she talked about the company. And I love that. I love talking about the company. So I was like, okay, did I get on the end of the Zoom? Did I get on the wrong Zoom? I was trying to figure out where I was. And then she did say, and we're going to talk to Dr. Demi Turner about the diabetes. I'm like, okay, I am on the right Zoom. And so anyway, it's just like a whole paradigm shift for me though. And so you want to say anything about that? I thought it was a great Zoom. I didn't get to hear the end, but
Absolutely. That came to me because I had decided that every single event that I do, even if it's just, you know, whatever event, it's going to be sharing the business. And usually we share it at the end. And it's like, oh, by the way, you know, however we do it. I felt it would be better to introduce it in the beginning and say, look, this is who we are, this is what we do. And then reinforce that at the end, just with, you might, you know, with the three choices, which is what I did. You might just walk away and say, you know, that was some interesting information, or you might want to just get Juice Plus for yourself and your family, or you might join our team. And so when we say that, they have more to look at from the beginning. They have, you know, they remember what I was saying from the beginning. And that was the first time I had ever done that. And I think I will do it that way moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to build team and we want to build the message to go out farther. So I did think it was pretty cool. She talked about her team name, Infinite Possibilities. I could see us doing our team, you know, we are on a mission, and our team name actually is Team Transformers because we're transforming people's lives for their health, but also their finances. And then going into how we came about being in this business and how we are making a difference in people's lives. Then going into the product presentation, I thought, oh, that's kind of genius. I was just my mind was just swirling, but I thought,
you know, I was thinking though that I was concerned afterwards because I saw several partners and they were not on our team. You know, they were sideline buddies. And so I was thinking, well, maybe team, you know, Team Infinite Possibilities. But I did say several times, whoever it is that invited you, you know, we're one team, one mission. So maybe I won't. I like using Team Possibilities.
Do what you want to do. It's your event, you know. Anyway, so anybody else want to talk about any of that before we get to Wendy, the Stacy Whitmer stuff, or anything that's exciting that happened?
Well, piggybacking on Nalani's event, I just want to share, I'll keep you guys curious. At the end, as we close, I'd like to share a few things. We just had a 2-hour coaching with Julie Herbst and Amy Getz. So maybe I can save you about 15 years in the business and give you what they are focusing on us to be doing. And I want to share that with you guys. So
well, I think Wendy's glad she's on the call.
I know, I want to hear.
Yeah. And the people that are on here, just so you know, for the live stream, this is something I've decided to start doing. No offense or anything, but I'm not showing participants that have their camera off so that people don't on Facebook don't see a bunch of cameras off. You know, we want to see the faces and the eyes and the expressions of everybody that's on here. So there are some more people on here, but if you want to be on there for your team, make sure your camera is on. But yeah, we're going to start doing some events that include some of the business on a monthly rotation too, Nalani. So that was a really cool event, and I think it's cool. That's one thing about Nalani. I'm just going to give her props, and something you can learn from Nalani. I'm always learning from Nalani. I would consider her one of the mentors in my life. We don't really have calls or anything. I mean, sometimes I'll ask her a question about this or that, but a lot of times she probably thinks I'm asking questions about what she did, you know, as a leader or something. Most of the time I'm asking because I want to learn from her. She's very wise. She has a lot going. She has way more in life going on than many of you realize. And you know a tree by its fruit. And I have met most of her her children, not most, but many of them, or a few. But I look forward to meeting her musician daughter, who's a really incredibly gifted in lives in New York and stuff. But she's just a great example. And the thing I want to point out is that she does the business her way. She owns the business. She doesn't, and she is fully in the arena. She does events the way she has a vision for events. She thinks it through, and just rolls with it. And they're always a good event. And she also is very good. She will ask us questions and whatnot, but I would consider her one of our leaders that we like to call it launched. It's like launching a child out of the nest. And that is the ultimate goal in this business as a leader, is that you want to really duplicate leaders. Like, she doesn't really need us. She connects, and that's great. And part of her needs us, but she doesn't really need us. Like, she is fully independent. So
I'd like to meet her, whoever.
everybody should aspire. And by the way, she just went through major health challenges, is a multi cancer survivor, and did the business literally from hospital beds and stuff. So amazing, just amazing. So that should inspire you and give you vision for how you should do your business. Own it completely and do it. So that's my exciting thing today, Sharon.
Okay, awesome. So we'll leave you how many minutes at the end?
Oh, just 5 at the most.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm excited to introduce you to my friend, Wendy Palmisano. She is amazing with her energy, with her story, with her steadfast perseverance. And she's a mom on a mission. The first time I ever saw her was at a regional training in Orlando. And this like, I won't forget this ever. So she's up on the stage. I think everybody had cardboard or poster boards of like what changes their family had gone through, where they flipped it over. And so she was the leader of that, and she was up there talking about it and flipping her card over. And then she's like, and all you mamas who've had these amazing changes with your special needs children, rise up. And it was like being in church. Whoosh, there are all these people. I got goosebumps just now even thinking about it. All these moms she had attracted to her team because she had had such significant changes in her own child, in her own life, quality of life that she got because of Juice Plus with her spina bifida child that, took a lot of time, and she'll probably talk about that. And so I was like, wow, she really just attracted all these people. And I think she moved pretty quickly to QNMD. And then I don't know, we've watched her grow over time and get a Mustang. Like, we got a Mustang. There's just so many things that, and she's in Florida. And so we see her, every so often. She's a sideline buddy. So that's another reason why you want to go to regionals and boot camps, because you meet these people that you can then depend on. I saw her this morning. I'm like, hey, you want to come on the Lunch and Learn? And here she is. So meet those people that you can reach out to and develop those relationships. So Wendy, we're glad you're here. Share with us your story, your product business story, and what gets you excited about Juice Plus today.
Okay, thank you guys for having me. This is an honor to be asked. I love the Ferrars. They've been some of my fun, and our Elton dance partners. We've had some good times at the Eltons together.
For sure.
My story actually started, I went to high school with Craig and Lisa Radici. Do any of you know them? Yeah. So Craig and Lisa's daughter was at Paget's boot camp and fell off the golf cart. This is before I knew anything about Juice Plus. I hadn't really talked to them in years and had a brain injury. And part of my story, which Sharon shared with you already, was that I have a son with spina bifida. So he's had 13 brain surgeries, 33 surgeries in total, but 13 of those were brain. So I just felt like this need to reach out to them and talk them through the process of possible brain surgery, which Maddie did not have to have brain surgery, which was great, but that's how we got connected. And then Lisa took that and ran with it. She kept in touch with me. She started inviting me to events. I kept telling her no, because I was in crisis mode with my own family, because I had 33 surgeries, by the time he was 17. And so I just didn't want a business. I didn't want anything else to do, but she kept pursuing me, and she kept inviting me to events. So the event that got me was a wine and wellness event at an old high school friend's house. And I was like, okay, I got 4 kids. I had 4 kids in 4 years. So this was in 2010. They were 9, 10, 11, and 13 at the time. And she said, come to this wine and wellness event. So you want to make events that are fun for people. And I thought, I'm going to get out, hang out with some women, and drink a glass of wine. But what I heard fascinated me with the research, the NSF certification, the fruits and veggies, the free kid program that they had going on, that they still have going on. I brought it home to my husband, who was like, absolutely not. We are not going to be part of one of those businesses. And I was like, but it's such a good product. I mean, it has the research. And he's like, I'm sorry. So I had left some CDs in his car because I had taken his car that night. And he was a motivational speaker at the time, so he traveled a lot in his car. So he started listening to these CDs because he was bored. And he came home and he goes, we need to get back with Craig and Lisa, and we need to get Juice Plus in our bodies today. It lines up with everything I believe in. Whole food nutrition. It's not a scam. This is amazing, incredible. Let's do it. So that was in 2010. We went to their house for dinner. We signed up. Jason signed up as a partner because I would tell you my word for him is thrifty. He wanted to get it for the best price. And then we never talked to Lisa again. Like, because she had his information. He signed up as the partner. She kept inviting me to boot camps and all this crazy stuff. But my life was so crazy, you guys. It just wasn't the right timing. After about 1.5 years of eating Juice Plus every day, we quit taking Juice Plus because of finances. Like, you know, and here's poor Lisa going, Wendy hates me. She needs money, but she won't listen to me about the business or the product or anything like that. And so we canceled our product. And within 6 months, what happened was during that 1.5 years, my kids got well. So my daughter had anxiety and depression, and she was better. Like, she was off meds. She was doing great. My next son down, Michael, had chronic allergies and was on Zyrtec every day, and he was no longer on Zyrtec. My next one down, Joshua, had chronic bronchitis from the minute he was born. So he was on antibiotics all the time, albuterol, you know, the nebulizer thing, which made him even more hyper than he already was. And he had an inhaler for when he would go play sports. And all that went away. It just got better. He hasn't had bronchitis since 2010. And then Sam was healing in record time, you guys, from surgeries. What used to take us 8 to 12 weeks to get him back to school was taking 3 weeks. I'm talking spinal cord surgeries back in school in 3 weeks. So you think, why in the world would you quit? Well, my whole saying is you don't think about being well, but you think about being sick. And we just weren't sick anymore, so we weren't thinking about it. We weren't thinking about what Juice Plus was doing for us because it was so simple. Eat some gummies in the morning and drink a shake and go off to school. And, you know, so 6 months passed without Juice Plus. And our daughter came to us. She was now 15, and she goes, can you at least get me Juice Plus? It just makes me feel better. And that's when the light bulb went off for me, you guys. It was a total timing thing. All those conditions I told you about were creeping back. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it was the Juice Plus this whole time. So we were just like, okay, we need to do this. We just still had a huge financial crisis going on. So my husband said to me, he goes, looks like you're going to start a business. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to do just enough to pay for our order. He's like, okay. Well, I was afraid to do this business because I had never done a business before, and I had never been trained or had a desire to do business. So what I said to all my friends was, hey, I love this product. I'm going to do this as a business. Will you do it with me? Because it would be so much more fun to do together. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I think we can have some fun. So I had 5 girls join me the first week as partners. And we just did a buttload of events, you guys. We did event after event after event. And we had a blast. And we got to QNMD, like Sharon said, in 2 years. And then it took me another 2 years to get to NMD. But so 4 years total. I gave myself a 4-year goal because I thought if I go back to school, it would take me a 4-year college degree to go do something new. So I thought I'm going to go to Juice Plus school for 4 years. So I schooled myself, listened to videos, went to every event, had lots of fun events, lots of wine and wellness, lots of coffee events that were fun for me. And I graduated exactly 4 years, almost to the day I made NMD. So that was really a
4
fun.
years is fast.
Yeah, it was, especially with everything we had going on with surgeries and 4 kids and all that kind of stuff.
So I know you kind of skipped this part, but it's one of the parts I remember is how
Okay.
you had to be with your son every day with his bowel movements
Oh, yeah,
before
yeah.
Juice Plus.
Yeah, that is something I forgot. Thank you for reminding me of that. So Sam with spina bifida, he has nerve damage to the bowel and the bladder. And so he was on Miralax, stool softeners, and a cone enema every night. And the cone enema is basically a bag of water attached to a tube, attached to a cone. You stick the cone where you think I'm going to stick it, open the water up, and it flushes out the poop by the water coming down. And so it was very crampy, very painful. And that meant we had to be home every night of his life. So after Juice Plus, we were able to get rid of that. He started being able to poop. We still don't know why, how it happened, but we got rid of the bowel regimen every night, and he started being able to go to camps and sleep over his friend's house. And it was life-changing for him. And he wasn't sick every night. He was sick every night by dinner time. So he would sit at the dinner table and not eat. He would just, you know, if we went on vacation and we were all getting ice cream at night, he would say, no, thank you.
So it was
And then-
life-changing for him, but it was also life-changing for the whole family.
It was.
I think that's what you said. All the mamas who used to have their kids on Miralax, please stand.
That's exactly what I said. And like
So
8 or 9, I was surprised at how many stood up.
Oh, I was too. That's the first time I ever saw you or met you. So
Wow.
you really focused on the product back then and how it helped your family. How did you get that running crew with you? I mean, you said fun. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna do it together. And then you had some events. Was that because Lisa was already there and had events and you already could plug into them?
No, we created our own events. I mean, Lisa was there. So this was another really pivotal moment in my business. I was just getting all these girls launched. I was enjoying it. I was having so much fun because it was just something new and different and gave me like a purpose outside my home, which I didn't have before. And so there was one event I was helping one of the new girls get to QSC. And back then it was the 10-1-10. You had to have 10 orders, you had to get a partner, and they had to get 10 orders. So we had her final event going for her QSC on the books. Lisa was supposed to come. Now, you guys, I'm in this maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks at the most, okay? And Lisa called me at the last minute and said, I can't come. Something came up. Well, my friend Kim looked at me and she goes, what are we going to do, Wendy? We can't do this without Lisa. And I agreed with her in my head, but what came out of my mouth was, we got this. We're going to crush this. We know what we're talking about. It's not that complicated. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. So we got her to QSC that night.
Wow.
And that was a pivotal moment in my leadership because that showed me I could do it. I wasn't dependent on Lisa anymore. So then I was able to just go out and do my own.
Yeah.
I was like, Nalia, right? Is that how you say your name?
Nalani.
Nalani, yeah. Sorry, Nalani. But that was fun.
It is empowering when you realize that you can do your own events, that you don't have to schedule it with somebody else and them be there and all that stuff for you.
Right.
So you had those events for your people.
Yeah, well, I made them host them.
Okay.
And I would just come to their house.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so what gets you excited nowadays with our business and maybe the change of lifestyle you've had because of the business? But I know you're really excited about LUMINATE too, so we have to get to that. So whatever you want to talk about in those areas, let's hear from you.
Okay, so, you know, we were kicking butt, doing great, having a great time. And then 2016 was when I made NMD. My daughter had a teenage pregnancy in 2014. We had a baby in the house now too. I forgot that part, but it was a Juice Plus baby, so she was healthy. So there was a lot going on. And in 2018, Sam had a series of 4 surgeries in a row. He had had to have his bladder recreated. Now that was a crazy surgery. They took part of his intestines, made him a bigger bladder. That turned into 4 surgeries in a row. It was just one of the most stressful times of my life. We almost lost him a couple times. It was just, you know, and meanwhile, you guys, you know, I'm still doing my business from the hospital room. And I remember during that 2018 surgery time, I was sitting there holding my unconscious son's hand, thinking he was going to be dying, and my paycheck posted. And I just started bawling because I'm like, what other job can you have where you're still getting paid? And I hadn't been working for 4 months because I'd been in the hospital with him. And it was just one of those moments that you're just like, thank God I started this business. Thank God that I'm still doing this business. And, you know, the great news was that he lived, and he's 22, almost 23 years old now. He is paralyzed from the waist down. He drives a car. He has a job. He has a social life. He drives himself to Orlando to go to concerts, to Tampa. He loves music. Like, he's just a great kid. However, right after those surgeries, we got Sam back to school. I was walking down the street with one of my friends trying to get back in shape and, you know, back into my routine when she noticed that my arm wasn't swinging. And I didn't think much of it because I just thought, I probably have a pinched nerve. And that was in August of 2018. By Christmas, I couldn't even write anymore. By the spring of 2019, my whole right side had shut down. And a couple years later in 2020, I got diagnosed with Parkinson's, which I was not expecting a diagnosis like that. But the extreme stress from what I had gone through with Sam had progressed the disease quickly. And I've had Parkinson's, I can look back since my 20s, since before Juice Plus. So one of the things that I would say is I'm doing the best out of everyone that I know. And I think it's because what Dr. Sears calls preloading. I had been preloading my body with Juice Plus for so long that the rest of my body was completely healthy. You know, so that was really cool. So I've helped a lot of Parkinson's people now get on Juice Plus. But the LUMINATE here, my gosh, you guys, I took so in February of this year, my brother died. Super stressful time again. And it really wreaked havoc on my Parkinson's because I had such a strict ritual of going to the beach, walking every day, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, drinking my shake, taking my Juice Plus, ice bath. I go to ice bath every day. I'm medication free. I exercise every day. So I do a lot of things to stay as healthy as I can be. But after my brother died, that stress exacerbated my symptoms again. And I was in a little bit of a depression because it was a lot. My brother had 3 wives and 6 children. So there was a lot going on at that funeral because they were all there. And somehow I was in charge. So I don't know how that all worked, but I was. So I was just kind of secluding myself, not really working my business, just kind of giving myself permission to rest and grieve. And Lisa Radici had just come home from Indianapolis, which I didn't even go to, which one of my very only conferences that I didn't attend. And she had the LUMINATE. And I went there very tremory, very low, very, still sad. And I drank this LUMINATE, and within 30 minutes, you guys, I almost felt like I wanted to laugh. Like I felt giddy. I felt like the fog in my brain had just gone away. My tremors subsided. My body relaxed, like my whole central nervous system just relaxed. So, I mean, it's just like, this is a game changer. I've also helped a lot of people with Parkinson's get on LUMINATE now too, and they're finding the same exact situation. Yeah. So if everybody has anybody with Parkinson's that they want me to talk to, or spina bifida or anything like that.
OMG, I was just going to ask you if you would be the guest speaker for one of my events, because on my events, we're focusing now on specific issues.
Okay, absolutely.
We're not saying that it cures anything.
No, we're not. It definitely is not curing me, but I'll tell you, I'm probably doing the best out of everybody that I know.
I'll talk to you. Thank you so
Thank-
much.
It's helping your symptoms be lessened, right? And keep you stable.
Yeah, yeah. And my goal is to stay off the medication. I was on it for 3 years
Oh,
with some side effects. And then I found the ice plunge, so Parkinson's is just a lack of dopamine production in your brain.
really?
And so what happens when you get into an ice bath, it increases your dopamine production 250%.
Hmm.
So
I was wondering why people were doing.
it'll make you happy. I'm telling you that when you couple that with the LUMINATE, you got a grand slam right there.
Yeah, well, I know Hippocrates in South Florida, they have you go in the heat and the ice and the heat and the ice, go back and forth for your adrenals, I thought, but I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And so in business wise, with, being diagnosed with Parkinson's and really, having to revamp it, I'm kind of reinventing myself again.
Yeah.
You're going to do that throughout your business. You're going to reinvent. Me hosting big events and having all these events all the time, it's just not in the cards for me anymore. So I'm kind of reinventing myself, and I'm doing small events at my home. I'm having my team come to me for training. I'm having them step up and lead other people's events for me because they can and they should. And I'm doing Zooms and just, really just doing what works for me. I'm just taking where I'm at, my energy levels now, and I'm making it work.
I love that. Like I was saying about Nalani earlier, I mean, I think that's really important for everybody to do the business how they want to do the business, how they don't, how they enjoy doing the business, right? Instead of just feeling like you have to do what Sharon and Doug do or what we see so and so do. I think that's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where the power hours are coming in, Doug, and which is why I'm plugging into yours, is because I'm really focusing on teaching my team right now to win their business in an hour, especially over the summer. And I think the Empowered in an Hour, you can win your business in an hour a day. And check off the boxes.
It's a great opportunity, even if they can. And you guys, I'll just put a plug out there because we're in our Facebook group too. I'm running them at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday on this line. You can tell your sideline buddies about it. I mean, we get all kinds of sidelines that come on, but we definitely see the numbers down in the summer. And I'll never understand this whole summer slump thing because, I mean, I understand kids are out of school, people want to travel, things like that. But I'll just tell you, as somebody who does a lot of like personal coaching about life and about achievement and about long-term success, you can't let what I would call the noise in life distract you from long-term what's best for you. And I always think of Julie Herbst's example of like when Hannah was a baby and how, I mean, we see it all the time, right? I mean, you have partners that have children and then all of a sudden, I mean, I realize it takes a lot of time, or maybe they're fostering cats or whatever. That could be Melissa's excuse. She has like bunch of kittens in the house, they're climbing all over her legs and whatever, but you can still do that and build a business. Leanne Gordon, I mean, what does she have, like 8 kids and travel on the road? I mean, there's a 100 clubber that has 10 kids and homeschool them all. Okay, so you can do it. You can certainly get on a power hour because like Julie used to say, she would put Hannah in like the baby carrier and like dial the phone while Hannah's right there when she was an infant, just to realize that this is why I'm doing this. It's not going to be the reason I'm not doing it. It's the reason I am doing it. And then, I mean, I know some of the innards of like how much money you can make in this business and how much couples and like 100 clubs actually make. It's a lot of money, guys. And it has changed the trajectory of that family's lives and those children that she could have had a reason not to do the business. Now, the things that, like Hannah has a company. How do you think you can do a startup company when you're 20 years old? Because you got mom and dad that can fund it. You know what I mean? So, and that's pretty amazing. So kudos to you, Wendy, that you're just reinventing yourself and doing that. I want to ask a couple questions. And you guys, if you have questions for Wendy, you can unmute, but I'm going to go first. I'm going to ask, because now I got my friend Denzel on here now too. We got some guys here in the business. There's less of us, but we are here. And but not only for guys in the business, but also for women that are in the business that have a spouse. And you started off your story saying how Jason's first reaction was, we ain't doing this. But I know from doing boot camps and being involved with you guys over the years that Jason has been supportive and involved, and he may not be like officially like working it full time. I don't even know his involvement currently, but what role has he played in your business over the years? Or Craig Radici, your upline?
Yeah. Well, I think what I love about having my husband and Craig part of my business is most of my people are women. And a lot of them don't have that, great male role model. So I love having them come in and do some of the trainings and, mindset coaching and different things like that, just to give my girls, an opportunity to hear from a strong leader man, just having that
Yeah.
male
And
role
just to clarify what you're saying, it's not that they're guys that aren't involved or spouses that aren't involved. It's not that they're not a good role model. That's not what Wendy meant.
No.
But in Juice Plus, like not all of them have an interest, and they have other things going on. And I always say to women who are like, this happens to me all the time. They'll pull me aside at conference, like, "Hey, Doug, what do I need to say to my husband to get him involved like you are?" And my response is always the same. Why are you trying to ruin his life? He has his own goals and dreams and things he's passionate about. Let that bird fly,
Yeah.
But what
Well, I have a
Sharon
lot
did
of-
for me was just bounce ideas off me, like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And then it became a conversation over the years, and then that led to me being all in.
Yeah, yeah. And what I meant by having, not having a strong male leadership in their life, a lot of my women are single moms, so that's where I was thinking about that, for sure.
Yeah.
Jason has been like all in the business, and then he's all out, like he comes and goes, like he's got his own job and his own coaching business going on. And I always say, you bring me the people, you connect the people to me, and I'll do the rest. So that's kind of where we are there too. But just having his support, knowing that he supports me as a businesswoman, he supports the product, he loves the product. It's awesome.
Your story is absolutely amazing. I'm still just recovering from hearing all your amazing stories. And I'll tell you, my husband, when we look for a house, as we eventually will build again or move again, he always says, "Well, see, you could have your meetings over there." He's always talking about, "Well, that's a great place. Look at the gazebo. You could have some people there." So thinking about that, you just reminded me of that. He's in, he's out.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, we tried to like make it kind of force fit it sometimes to make Jason a Doug Farrar, get him like on Zooms, and he did a lot of Zooms for my team, and he does a lot of coaching with my girls if they want it. But Juice Plus as a business is just not something that he wants to do, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that, because he does have, he's writing a book, and he's a corporate coach now, and he's got things that he wants to do, but he supports me 100% fully.
Like I said, don't ruin their lives. But I think it's really healthy in a relationship to talk about your business with your spouse, and to make sure that you're talking about what they do and what they're passionate about. That's called a relationship. Being interested. When you're in a relationship or have friends or whatever, you should be more interested in them than just talking about yourself. So make sure you do that, because you never know. They're going to have insights into your business because they know you better than anybody. Yeah. And they're going to have great insight into how you operate and stuff. That's how I got started in the business.
Yeah. And don't feel like there was a time and period in my life where like all the, amazing couples in the business. And I was like, this is what I want. I want Jason to quit his job and do this full time with me. And we kind of played around with that a little bit, and we realized pretty quickly that was not going to be what happened. And that's okay. You have to be okay with that. Like, you get to do this business how you do this business, and your spouse will have gifts and talents and things to offer that, you know, that are going to be completely different than Doug's talents or my husband's talents or Craig Radisi's talents. You know, be okay with what they have to offer, whether it's just a pat on your back when your paycheck posts or, you know, they come to an event with you.
Yeah. Or doing some dishes, or I mean, I
Oh
was like a
yeah.
busboy early on. I mean, I think the levels, if there's a continuum. There's being supportive, like, you know, emotionally, and like, you know, and I understand the way, like, the patriarchal, is that the right word, for of society and history works, but I always hate to hear that thing where, you know, it sounds like, you know, you have to get permission to do this or permission to do that. You know, I've always been very much I consider myself a feminist, I guess, that, and, you know, very much about equal rights. But I understand the roles that women and men play in relationships, and that's cool. But at the same time, as a man, you know, being supportive, and I always try to get this across to the guys on the team. So that's why it's good for you guys. Don't hide your husbands away from me, because I'm not going to tell them things like, yo, dude, you got to quit your job. I'm going to be like, just be supportive. Like, start. Joel Herbst used to have a great talk called Dishes to DMO. You know, you start with not giving your spouse a hard time about having events at the house. Then you move up to maybe not just, I mean, full disclosure, I would take the kids out of the house so Sharon could have an event, but we would go to the chicken wing place, which is probably why I ended up in the cardiologist's office. So that was that kind of yin yang we had going there back in the day. But then you start, maybe I was a busboy for a while, you know, I would just make sure there, because, you know, when you're doing an event, how there's all the dirty plates and cups that start stacking up around the room. I just go around, I'm like the busboy, you know, and then I would start, you know, figure out somebody I could talk to, and like figure out who the ones we really wanted to talk to, and I would like talk to them privately, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But you know, I want to get to, because we only have about 12 minutes left. Let me share with you some of the coaching from Amy and Julie, so that we can include Wendy in the conversation, and keep thinking about what you want to talk to Wendy about. But here's basically what it came down to. Of course, we talked numbers, and we talked about, yes, even some of you guys that are on here, about our team and our numbers and who's POB and who could get to where and all that stuff. But a couple of things that came out. Remember, if you're a person of faith, to pray for your business and for your team. Be careful about going into management mode. You know, I'm guilty of management mode. I love the spreadsheets. I love project broadcast. I love figuring out how, when Facebook says you can't stream into a group anymore, I'm like, watch me. In fact, I can stream into 4 groups at a time. I can stream all over the place. Do not fall into management mode, though. Coaching is good. Helping people is good. However, there's a time for the birdies to leave the nest, because if they don't become self-sufficient, they can almost become, I mean, you don't want to meet somebody that has a 7-year-old that's still breastfeeding, right? That's going to get a little weird. Yeah, make that face, Melissa. So, because there's and I asked them, well, what's the line? What determines management mode versus, and management mode is what we call when you're not really doing the things that are going to build your business. You're just finding reasons to manage everything that's going on. And I think some of you guys even get a little bit of fear of fear of success. If you build your business too much, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to manage all these things. That's not really the goal. The goal should be, like Dr. Nalani is the poster girl for a successful, and Stacy Turner, right? So that completely just on their own, they just launch. You want to launch people. So you want to not be in management mode. And here's a formula that Amy gave us, which is 50% of our time should be on building new, and 50% of our time would be on managing the team. Now, if you are a 50 club team, you have more to manage. There's more problems, because we get Voxers with problems all day long, right? And we don't have to take all those monkeys on our back. There's a book called The Monkey. What is it? The Monkey Meets, I forget what it's called. Ken
The 1
Blanchard.
minute manager meets.
Oh yeah, the 1 minute manager is about the monkey, and then there's the 1 minute manager meets the monkey. So don't take the monkey on your back all the time. You can just text them back the phone number to distributor support. Now you don't have to answer every question. Otherwise, how are people going to learn how to figure out how to be independent, right? So you should spend more than 50% of your time if you have a smaller business currently. So it's all about new. What else? Let's see. Oh, look for the stars. This is a tip from Wendy's upline, Leanne Gordon. She looks for the stars in the business and she pulls them up and encourages them the best she can, and then she moves on looking for the other stars in the business. So you want to find, we call those gold ships for us. And another thing that I had was find people who want to leverage, because we're talking about getting team, right? So we want to find people that want to leverage their time and money using established systems. Okay? Those are the people that are going to build a business. Those are the people that get it. Sharon, do you have any other things that are shareable? Those are my basic things.
Yeah, I'm glad you're sharing those. That's good. Well, she said, move into building mode. Just think of yourself, are you managing or are you building? And building mode really is having events, talking to new people, expanding your warm market, things like that. And then as far as staying connected to people who, may go away, whether they're customers or team, whatever, drip, drip, drip. For some reason, Julie goes drip, drip, drip. And then, so you could think of that. And just loving on people, staying connected. So like Amy was saying, she meets with somebody like every 6 weeks, somebody who she really wants on the team or wants to be re-engaged. She just makes sure she doesn't lose that relationship. And so staying engaged with people is one thing. We call that love tap. But creating independent leaders, that's what some of the conversation was about. And you invest in things you want to save. I think you said that, Doug. You invest in things you want to save. And then for like coaching, Amy said that she has people who leave her a Voxer message like on Tuesdays. Okay, just a 3-minute message or less. Just leave me a Voxer so we can keep in touch and keep this conversation going. Like after she does a coaching or after she's talked to somebody and she's trying to help them, then do that. She also talked about doing energy producing activities that drive fulfillment. Like we go in your space that really brings you energy. She said, and there will also be work, which I thought was funny because last night, I love this Spanish friend of ours, and we went to dinner with her. And Emma has a new job. So Emma's like, well, I don't really like closing, the whole golf place. And anyway, what is it? Country club, whatever.
Yeah.
And so the Spanish lady, she's so direct, and she's like, that's why it's called work. So like that's funny. So I thought it was kind of cute that, Amy, I think it was, it said, you're gonna have your energy things, but then you are gonna have your work. Sometimes we don't want to sit down and make those calls or pick up the phone. It seems like, oh, the momentum, you need to gather your momentum, but that's the work part. We've got to put in the work. So I like that. Okay, I think that was.
How about some questions or comments or
Yeah.
discussion around any of that? Go ahead, Melissa.
I just wanted to say, I think it's interesting that you highlighted the bird and the nest and kicking the bird out. I was listening to, they have little sermons after each chapter in the Purpose Driven Life. And I was listening to it while I was mulching. And it was talking about, and I never knew this, about an eagle. They build their nest like high, really high, make it real nice and fluffy for the little birds. And then the mother eagle starts making it all nasty. So like a stick starts poking the baby. And then it's like, forget this. So it jumps out and it's like, oh gosh, here I go. But then the mom eagle swoops underneath and catches it and brings it back. And the bird's like, oh, I'm okay. And then she just keeps doing it until the bird flaps and flies. And I thought that was like really neat. I never knew that. But that's interesting that you brought that up today too.
Yeah.
Yeah, being independent doesn't mean, you know, you won't talk to your sponsor or leaders anymore. Like, in fact, we said, you know, we are pretty independent from Julie and Amy. We don't really call on them to do third-party calls for us, you know, when we have new team. And so we've made it established that we're going to now. So, you know, because third-party validation is third-party validation, you have to have that other person. So while we also want you to be independent and we want to help you become independent, we still will be there for, you know, helping, and they will be helping us all. So
we were talking about management mode, and I know because I'm looking at some pretty seasoned leaders on here, and you guys know how it is. So you have somebody, they're on the team, you know what they're capable of. Maybe they've gone up to sales coordinator or whatever, but now they're not moving. So it's almost like you feel like you have to be in management mode. Otherwise, because if I'm not in management mode, they're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do this. So what's the difference of management mode versus not management mode? Well, first of all, let's be honest. When we get in management mode and we're like, what did Amy say? You can only carry one person at a time, but you can run with 100 people, right? So if they're not willing to run with you, like, how is it really working when we try to carry people? Like, I know we do it because we're afraid of what'll happen if we don't, but it still doesn't work, you know? And we can still reach out. Let's say Karen's not engaged. I can say that because she is totally. I can call her once a month. It means I'm not gonna not call her. I'm gonna say, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 and just kind of check in. And I'm still maintaining that relationship. I'm still checking in. I'm still supportive of whatever she is more focused on than the business right now. I'm asking questions, and I'm always there for when the on-ramp is always happening. If they want to get on and start running again, they'll get on and start running again. But the time I save from not, like, you know, begging her to have a party or something is going to allow me to talk to all these new people and then get the new blood in, and which is going to energize me. And honestly, it's going to energize the rest of the team as well. You know, you guys have seen it. When we have a new exciting team member come on, it might not even be under you, but it still energizes you too. You know what I mean? And you know how it is when you get a team member, it's super exciting. And I know some of you guys are waiting to get a Wendy on your team, or a Nalani, or a Sharon. You know, listen, I'm hoping for those days too. You know, we're in the same boat, but we just got to keep on rolling.
all right, or any of these people, you know, all these people are plugged in, and
Amazing.
a blessing. All right, well, thank you so much, Wendy. I wrote in the chat just in case we went
Yeah,
over
thank
too
you.
much.
Wendy, I had a quick question.
Okay.
I had put it in the chat, but I know that you were talking. So how long, and I know I say the exact same thing, so I love that you say that, is people don't notice that they're getting better, right? They only notice, you know, when they're sick. But do you have any idea, when you were looking back, how long it was taking your family to really notice a difference? Like 2 months, 4 months, 6 months? And I'm sure everybody was different, right? Like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell because I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, just one day I realized we hadn't been to the doctor's office in a long time, and we were at the doctor's office every week with one of those kids. So I remember at the 4-year mark, I was taking one of my kids in for their well visit, which was the only time we ever went. And I said, just out of curiosity, how many times in the last 4 years has Michael been a patient here? And they said 4, only for well visits. And then I had them look back at how many times he had been to the doctor before that. And it was so many. Like, the doctors and nurses were my friends. Like, and now all of a sudden they were, you know, I actually even got a call, Karen, from the pediatrician's office and said, did you guys move?
Wow.
Where did you go? So I think it happened within the first 4 to 6 months. It had to.
Yeah, and I know everybody's body is different and all of that, but
Right.
it was the same thing for me. I was on Juice Plus for probably 7 months, and it wasn't until then that somebody said something about allergies, and I went, Oh,
Right.
I haven't you know what I mean? Like you just didn't think of it. So yeah.
Yeah. We were just having fun. We weren't thinking about being sick because we weren't anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, Karen, I thought her story also was like yours with her being at the hospital so much, but still getting a paycheck and how thankful. And when you went through everything you went through with your mom.
Yeah, mine was with my parents, not my kids,
Yeah.
thankfully. I guess because that's, you know, that's the way it's supposed to happen, right? Parents, but still, that's when it kind of clicked for me with this business. You know, I really was not engaged for like a year and a half and still getting a paycheck. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing.
we can be thankful for that. All right, guys. Well, hopefully this was inspiring for you, gave you some good next steps. And thank you, Wendy, for volunteering to even do a three-way call or get on Nalani's Zoom. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
that'll be fun.
yeah, that'd be awesome. So we'll see more of you, hopefully, and follow Wendy Palmisano on Facebook. She's good. I
Thank
like your posts. They're
and
really,
fun.
I just want to
yes.
shout out really quickly to Hyvel. She was
Yes.
our first guest speaker on our series that we're doing, and she just blew everybody away.
Oh,
Just
she
blew everybody
does.
away. Just shout out. Thank you.
Yes, well, I keep waiting to hear about the TED Talk. I think it's later this month. Right, Vella? She's doing a TED Talk in there she is.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Yes, it is. It's later this month. And the conversation is sex after heart attack. It's something we
Sex
have to
after
talk
heart
about,
attack.
right?
I
Yeah.
couldn't believe you chose such a bold title. That's amazing.
What I couldn't
It
get
was a
it.
journey.
Say it again, the name of it.
Sex after heart attack.
Oh, sex after heart attack. Right.
Yes. I just explored, people are getting sick earlier and you still have relationship. So how do you keep a relationship intact despite obstacles?
Awesome.
Love it. Love it. She's always representing both of you guys. Nalani, I had wanted to put your book into Team Transformers. Is there not, send me something. And then I wanted to tell everybody about Vela too. And I needed more information. I want to do that because we have
It's just
some amazing-
newlifeneardeath.com. It's the same.
What is it called?
newlifeneardeath.com.
So that's Nalani's book site.
newlifeneardeath.com. There it is.
Okay. newlifeneardeath.com.
I can't thank Dr. Milani enough. It's so imperative that the community is so awesome. I spoke to her briefly and she gave me some information. And that's just to tell you that there's a family. It's more than just a community. And just thank you for just being open and receptive. And we feed off of each other and we actually grow off of each other.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Great.
Wow. Wendy, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Hope to see you. We'll see you in Florida and we'll see you in Phoenix in September, right?
Yes, ma'am. And
Maybe-
8 a.m. on the Empowered in the Hours with Doug.
Oh yeah. 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, Empowered in an Hour. That's a good one.
Awesome.
That's just an hour-long time to work if you haven't been on one yet.
Yay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Tonight at 7:00, LUMINATE and Brain Health with Julie and Kirsten Hood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in the Voxer. I'll send that to you, Wendy.
Okay, thanks.
All right. You guys have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, wait, 8 a.m. Well, I know it's on the one you're doing, Doug, is 8 on
Monday
Monday
Friday.
through Friday on this line, 8 a.m. Eastern.
Friday. Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Peace out.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you, Wendy.